Welcome to the Positive Pants Podcast. Mindset, motivation and inspiration to help you find your positive pants. It's time to let go of negative thinking, understand why you do what you do and stop the self-sabotage with your host, Fran Excel.
Welcome to the show. As always, it's Fran Excel, your resident subconscious success mentor, helping you find your very own pair of positive pants so you can get out of your own way and live a life that you love. If you want to stop self-sabotaging your own success and let go of the stress, then you are in the right place, my friend. Make sure you download your free Stressed to Success guided meditation at bit.ly/stress to success as my little gift to you just for being here. Please do subscribe, share and review. It really, really helps people that need to hear this message find us, and I so appreciate it. In the show notes, you'll also find details of how you can work with me and where you can get your mitts on my meditations, products, printables, programs. You can find it through the link in my bio on Instagram, which is my favorite place to hang out. So please do come join me over there at I'm Fran Excel. Tag me in your takeaways, slide into my DMs. I'm here for it. So that's the formalities over, my love. So let's jump to the content. Are you following your joy in your business? I talk about this a lot. Firstly, because I feel like it's actually something that gets ignored far too often. Secondly, because there's so much nuance to where you get your joy. What brings you joy will shift and change as you shift and change, as well as what doesn't. Right? There have been some things recently that haven't been bringing me joy anymore. And when I started to pay attention to that, I asked myself a few questions. And I wanted to share them with you in case you go through the same thing, because it's an inevitable part of the process, right? So firstly, I asked, what no longer brings me joy and why? It's no secret there are lots of things that I struggle with and see as problematic in the online industry in terms of bro marketing, scarcity marketing, people intentionally putting people into trauma responses to get them to buy. There's so much out there and we're all aware of that, right? And some days you can feel like you're fighting a losing battle. I'm also not a Facebook fan, and I'm really not on there much except for my paid programs. But every time I go on there, it's full of things that makes me wonder for a second if I'm back at school. And I'm really not here for it, if I'm honest. You know, calling people out publicly, mob mentality, being nice to someone's face and talking badly behind their back. It's a big fat no from me. Thank you very much. We're all adults, but sometimes the behavior can get the better of us, right? And I've been trying to untangle the things and the places that make me feel like I'm caught up in it so I can get back to being in my own lane and protecting my own space. And at the end of the day, it stems from unconscious programs and protection mechanisms that can be absolutely empathized with, but I'd just rather not be around it myself. This is me, my opinion, no judgment. It's just not something that I want in my energy. So the other thing I see a lot is people are understanding psychology or trauma and then using psychological manipulation or poking trauma. Like, it's not something I can get on board with. And I always say that I sell the unsexy truth, right? That it takes work, that healing is so flipping worth it, but you have to be ready to do the work. No one can do it for you. You know, I'm not selling you a magical unicorn. I'm selling you the truth of what actually works. So one of the things that I've been doing is muting and unfollowing lots of people and lots of accounts. I've been making it as easy as possible on myself to not see that stuff, not to create an echo chamber. I'm totally here for new perspectives on things. My ability to see things from all sides is something I consider a personal superpower. It's just to protect my own energy. Right? So being honest with myself about what's not sparking joy right now is something I see as a really, really important part of this process. And when you're in business for a while, you're going to go through it a few times, right? It's so necessary in exactly the same way as it would be in a job or a relationship or anything along those lines. It's like, you know, are we still in the right space to be working with each other? That could be you and your business. It could be you and a job. It could be you and a friend. You know? So once I've done that part of the process, next up I ask myself, what does bring me joy? And am I giving it enough attention? So the first thing in my business that really brings me joy is in-person time. I can get some serious magic done with someone in person, and I flipping love it. It's just a totally different vibe. So the mentorship absolutely covers this with the retreat and then 2 more in-person days as well. My VIP in-person days brings me so much joy. 4 hours, you, me, and a ton of tea or fizz, depending on whatever floats your boat, picking things apart and putting it back together then, again, based around you, what you want for your business and what you actually want for your life, based on your personality, your quirks, your nuance, your situation, cutting out the noise and other people's shoulds and getting you focused on what needs to happen without trying to sell your soul or do a ton of things that you really don't want to, because guess what? You won't. Another thing is doing my monthly Ask Me Anything calls inside my membership and our calls with our mentees on the mentorship. I love too, because you can really have some big shifts and changes and really change the way someone's looking at something, and something that somebody's been struggling with for weeks or months or years, you can change that all around really quickly. That sparks joy. But there is something that I noticed really sparks joy that I've been publicly kind of holding back on. Something that I use all the time with any clients and in conversation too when I meet people. I'm always introducing people to this, and I'm always profiling people as well. It's a huge amount of joy and fun for me. It's my little secret weapon and brings me genuinely so much joy when I introduce people to it. So this was a little revelation, because I thought, well, I use it, I do it. But I'm not using it in a big scale. I'm not using it publicly. I haven't really talked about it a huge amount on the podcast. I don't talk about it on Instagram in my content. So I had a little dig into why I wasn't following that joy. And really there was no good reason other than I use it all with my private clients. I kind of felt that it was something reserved for my private clients. And I thought that not that many people were going to be familiar with it too. So next up I asked, what could happen if I did give it more attention? And that's when the light bulbs went off. So much could happen if I give it more attention. But also, even if all that potential great stuff doesn't happen, like, growing a community around this one thing, which I will share with you, I promise, and being able to do sessions with people around this one thing, like 90-minute sessions, just one done, and that person can then go off and use all that amazing juicy awareness and all of the amazing things that come from using this tool. Even if none of the stuff that I'm thinking to myself that could happen, having fun with my content again, having more fun with it. Even if all that stuff doesn't happen, I'm still following my joy. I'm still going deeper into something that brings me joy. So why the F not, right? So I'm coming out of my joy closet with you today while I practice what I preach. The thing that sparks joy as someone who is obsessed with personal growth and development, obsessed with nervous system regulation and how we change and human behavior, passionate about helping people uncover their unconscious programming so they can consciously change it, and someone who is also obsessed with well-being and whatever that means to you, and being able to understand and listen to your own needs. That thing is the Enneagram. That is ENNEAGRAM, the Enneagram. If you're thinking, WTF is the Enneagram, don't you worry, I've got you covered. I will do an episode on it very soon, but I wanted to kind of get this out there because I feel like this is quite an important message. And because I was in it, I wanted to share it with you. So I promise I'll do an episode on it soon. But in the meantime, yesterday I did a thing. And I started a brand new shiny Instagram and TikTok profile. And it's at Enneagram and Excel. 2 L's because it's a play on my name. Did you get it? Enneagram and Excel. And I'm going to be talking all about it. All about the Enneagram. It's incredible and transformative. So the first step in any change is awareness. It's the first step in my NICER framework. So you have to notice, you have to identify. The first 2 steps the Enneagram massively helps with. It's my absolute favorite tool for shortcutting that space between where you're at right now and the self-awareness you need to actually completely change your life. And every client I introduce it to and work with around it finds it a total game changer. As soon as I put it out on my stories yesterday, I was having messages from people going, oh my God, this is so exciting. Like, the work that we've done around the Enneagram has changed my life. Yeah. It's amazing for creating awareness. Yes, you will feel a little bit called out, but it's in a way that you can do it with curiosity and self-compassion. It reduces the nasty inner self-talk. You create way more self-compassion than you ever thought possible for yourself, and find compassion for other people too, particularly when you start to understand their numbers. So go follow me over at Enneagram and Excel, 2 L's. I have no idea where it's going to go and where it's going to take me yet, but I'm really excited to find out. Nothing else changes in the rest of the business. I'm just practicing what I preach, and I'm following the joy and experimenting with no attachment to the outcome. And I really, really hope that you come join me, because it is transformative. And on top of all of this, I really invite you to do the same exercise that I've just been going through. Follow the tingles and don't ignore the meh. You know, everything is always moving you towards where you're supposed to be. And sometimes that's scary, and sometimes it's big, and sometimes it requires change. It doesn't mean you have to burn everything down. It just means you have to be honest with yourself. It's a level of self-awareness and honesty where you don't judge yourself and you just go, right, I'm just going to follow the tingles. I'm just going to see where this leads me. It's not realistic to think that you're always going to love everything in your business, or that you won't change your mind, or things won't happen and you see stuff and you're just like, you know what, I want out of that particular part, or that you don't want to pivot totally. You grow and change, so does your business. And you, my friend, get to be happy doing what you do. You get to spark joy and you get to feel joy. It's there waiting for you. You just got to ask yourself the hard questions first. So go get him, Tiger. So if you got value from this, and you know in your gut that now is the time to step up and start rewiring your thinking and start changing things for yourself, then join the Positive Pants Toolkit app and community so you can work out what needs to happen to get you from where you're at right now to the action-taking success you know you can be. And if you want my eyes and ears on your problems, then I work with people one-on-one and through my programs. You can find all the details to join the toolkit or book in a call in the show notes, the link in my bio on Instagram, and on my website, franexcel.com. So stop waiting for if and when, and choose to change things now, because you can. I'm here to believe in you when you don't believe in yourself. And as always, I hope you found this helpful, and I'll see you next week. Bye!